All right, welcome back to Retirement Today. This is your host, Michael Reese, certified financial planning professional, over 25 years helping families get to and through retirement comfortably, safely, securely, trying to help people make the right decisions. And I'm here this week with a special guest, Miss Elizabeth James, a 19-year veteran in the industry. We're talking about the big mistakes people make, right? So mistake number one was not protecting your income. And mistake number two is too much risk, especially as you're nearing retirement. All right, that brings up number three. What's the third biggest mistake that you see over and over again?
Well, it is regarding taxes, Mike. It's people ignoring the effects of taxes on their savings and their retirement savings.
Like, what do you mean their retirement savings? What do you mean what's taxed in retirement? What are you talking about?
Well, almost everything, Mike. So, all of these lovely, wonderful accounts that you have been saving and contributing during your working years, namely 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, 457s, any of those tax deferred accounts. We all heard and have been playing along with the myth, it'll be great. Defer now and it'll be great. You'll pay less taxes in the future.
Yeah, it's like, hey, save today when you're making money and you're paying a ton of tax today. So save today, and then you know what? Pay the taxes later in retirement. You'll be in a lower tax bracket then. Life will be great. Here's some of the problems that a 401k or a 403b or an IRA create when you're retired. So I want you to think about this. Now imagine you're retired, right? So Elizabeth, you're retired, right? And you're sitting on money in a 401k. And now you're thinking, I want to take some money out because I want to spend it. I actually want to enjoy my savings, which of course that makes sense. You pull out $10,000. Well, what happens from a tax perspective? Well, first, you're taxed on how much?
Well, the full gross distribution, 10,000.
Yeah, you're taxed on $10,000, right?
Right.
Oh, but wait a minute, are we done?
No, we're not done.
No, why aren't we done?
Because that can typically affect tax on other income sources.
Such as?
Social Security.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So I thought Social Security is supposed to be tax-free, aren't we? Don't we pay tax as it goes in the system? It's supposed to be tax-free as it comes out?
No, but you would be shocked at how many clients and people I meet that's their initial thought. They thought, wow, I've been paying Social Security tax all my working life. You mean I have to pay tax when I receive it? You betcha.
Yeah, and here's what happens, right? So Elizabeth, you're our retired person here, a very young retiree, and you take out that $10,000, you pay tax on that at whatever your highest tax rate is. But not only do you pay tax on that, suddenly for many people, I hazard to say probably most people, now you also pay more tax on Social Security, so you get double taxed. Is that it? Is that the only place you're impacted?
No, it's kind of like a domino, Mike. There are different items that are going to impact many other tax rates.
I love the cascading domino thing.
Yes.
Have you seen these on YouTube where they have like 1,000,000 dominoes in different colors and they make patterns after they make them all fall down?
Another one I can think of would be Medicare. If you're on, Medicare premiums, guess what? The more you make, the more you pay.
See what's happening here tonight, folks? I want to talk about dominoes and colors and different patterns on something I see on YouTube. Elizabeth's doing such a great job bringing us back into the conversation. So you take $10,000 out of your IRA, you pay tax on that, pay more tax on Social Security. And guess what? If you're on Medicare, who knows? That distribution may put you over limits. And the next thing you know, 2 years later, you get, why 2 years? It's the government, folks. 2 years later, now you're paying more premiums on Medicare. They call it premiums, but it's really just more tax, right? And by the way, there's a couple other things that you might think about. What about, investment income? What if you've got an investment portfolio, you get dividends, you get interest? Guess what? That distribution from your IRA or 401k might make those more taxable. What if you've got rental? You've got a rental, maybe a house or maybe two or three. You're getting rental income. Suddenly increased income from your 401k, suddenly, oh, I can't deduct all the stuff on my rental income like I used to. So I like how you say it. I liked your visual there of, taking money out of a 401k or an IRA in retirement is often like pushing that first domino on your tax return. And, as soon as not only do you pay tax on that, but suddenly, boom, there go a bunch more dominoes, and it is affecting you all throughout.
Absolutely.
And so you think, oh, I'm in the 15% tax bracket or the 20% tax bracket. I just pay 15 or 20% as that money comes out. Really, you're paying more like 25, 30%.
Right, because of all the cascading dominoes.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about an example here. Do you have any examples? I have examples, but do you have any examples where you're talking to someone recently where, maybe you're saying, all right, oh, what? Look at this. All your money's in your 401k. How's that going to affect them from a tax perspective in retirement? Does anything come to mind recently? If not, I've got a couple.
I've got one I could start off with, and then you can, add to it. But yes, another client recently retired, and I'm going to say 99% of their savings are in these deferred accounts. They did a great job saving in their 401k.
And by the way, is that common?
Oh, it is very, very common.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we see that all the time. The majority of your savings are in these tax deferred, supposedly tax advantaged accounts.
Now, that's what you were told to do, right?
We were told to do it. So we were all operating under that assumption, just save as much as you can in these deferred vehicles. I like to call it bad money, right? You got a lot of it, but it's the worst type of savings and money to have.
At least from a tax perspective. It's awesome when you're working. It's just the minute you retire, we got a problem, right? So did you have a chance to run any kind of analysis to figure out, hey, here's how much tax you're projected to pay because of this?
Yes. In fact, we do that with all of our clients. We are going to do an analysis for you and show you status quo. If you just continue doing what you've been doing and just stay along the path of retirement accounts and withdrawing as you need, and we've all heard of the three-letter word RMDs.
Oh yeah, required distributions.
Yes, because that's the IRS's plan for you if you do nothing else. So we're going to look at that and quantify that, and then see if we can come up with a plan that is a better.
Right. So it might be, for example, you might say, here we have someone, they're retiring with all this IRA money or 401k money. Maybe instead of just sitting back and taking it from the IRS, maybe we can plan strategically, right? And do some type of planning to reduce those taxes over time. What are some examples? What can people often do?
So often, and now's a great time because we are, in a historically lowest tax rate environment in our country's history.
For now.
So now is the time to take a look at this. But in this example, they just retired. So their taxable income has been lowered by, they don't have their salary anymore. So rather than just sitting there and enjoying no tax essentially for years, let's see what we can do by doing some tax planning. We're going to transition out of these IRA accounts and deferred accounts, pay the tax today, and one common method would be exploring Roth conversions.
Sure, it's kind of like the short-term pain to get to the long-term gain. Because if they don't do it, when required distributions come, they're going to get hammered big time, right?
Yes.
And by the way, I know that another issue is you remember that when you've got a married couple, you get to file taxes married, filing jointly. That's the best tax rates in the system, right?
Correct.
What happens when someone dies?
Well, that's a real bad deal because, one, you've lost a loved one, you have less income, and all of a sudden you are now a single tax filer, which is the worst tax rates to be in.
Yeah, so here we go. We go from being the best tax brackets now to less income, no spouse, but suddenly higher taxes. And if all the money you're leaving your spouse is a regular IRA or 401k, it's like just pouring grease on the fire or something, gasoline on the fire.
And let's not forget all of those retirement accounts. Now the surviving spouse is responsible for those same mandatory distributions, but at a much higher rate.
Yeah, it's ugly. So here's the thing. Very few people out there, I know this. I know very few of you have actually had someone look at your future and tell you, hey, this is the tax road you're on. And for most people, when they're shown that future, they say, holy cow, that's not where I want to go. So one of the benefits of calling in and getting that Retire Right report, the T is taxes. And we can help you look at the road you're on and say, hey, could we do some smart planning like Roth conversions or other types of planning to get you on a better road? And it's free to have that analysis done, and it's personal to you. All you got to do is give us a call, 512-886-5850. One more time, 512-886-5850. Call right now. We only have 10 spots this week. They're probably almost gone. Make sure you get your spot. Let's save you on taxes. Elizabeth, we got to wrap up. Great having you here this week. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everyone. I hope you all have a great week. We will talk to you again next week.